Have you as always. Thank you for being here. Obviously, this is the big break we've been waiting for. I know the FBI played a very big role in being able to retrieve this tape. Can you give us some background on how you were able to do that?
Yeah, Sean, look, it's great to be with you, and it was great to be, on the ground in Arizona with our FBI teams leading the charge with the local law enforcement there. Things like this happen when you have great partnerships with the private sector. And because President Trump delivered these great partnerships with these private sector companies, we were able to execute lawful searches and go to these private sector companies and expedite results, and then go into their systems and actually excavate material that people would think would normally be deleted and no one would look for. And basically, without getting into too many of the details, that's how the FBI worked with our private sector partners to pull out material that people thought didn't even exist because of the specific type of subscription service on the Ring doorbell. But thanks to this brilliant partnership, we were able to get it out, sharpen it with our technical capabilities at the FBI, and put it out to the world. Because, as you were just talking about, this investigation of this magnitude was going to require the public's assistance, which is why we put it out nearly immediately, the video, the photos, and sharpened images. And we continue to receive tips, and we encourage all Americans to provide any and all tips. And based upon that, we were able to expand the investigation and take the appropriate next steps, which is what we're doing and what you're seeing unfold.
Okay, was the FBI involvement, there have been reports, was it delayed?
Well, Sean, in a kidnapping case or a missing persons case, that's always a state and local law enforcement matter. And we had always offered our assistance from the beginning, taking our cues from local law enforcement. And so we've tried and we've been there and offered all resources. We've surged assets. I've put personnel and tactical units there in Arizona to make sure local law enforcement has what they need. But at the end of the day, the FBI is the only one who has the capabilities and the technical discipline to go in there and assist local law enforcement to get this type of information. And not only were we able to get this type of information, but we were able to exploit information pursuant to our private sector partner engagements that showed us that there might be persons of interest in and around the area related to this event. And so first and foremost, our priority is to find Nancy Guthrie. And of course, right behind that is to find anyone and any others involved in this kidnapping case to make sure they're brought to justice. And that's what we're doing. We're protecting the integrity of the investigation, but we're also being very public because it's a very public-facing case. And as President Trump rightly said, all resources have been dedicated to this investigation. They're going to continue on the ground, getting everything and absolutely anything they need from the FBI.
Director Patel, can I ask you just straight up, do you believe there are people of interest now? Have we gotten to that point? Are there potential suspects now out there?
Sean, without polluting the investigation, I will say we have made substantial progress in these last 36, 48 hours thanks to the technical capabilities of the FBI and our partnerships. And I do believe we are looking at people who, as we say, are persons of interest. But as you know, with any investigation, you are a person of interest until you're either eliminated or you're actually found to be the culprit or the culprits involved. And that's the stage we're at right now.
Well, what can you tell us about the timing of apparently people now around her being swabbed for DNA? I would assume that maybe some people are even being brought in. There has been no confirmation that they're being given lie detector tests. Can you confirm the truth of those reports?
Sean, I can generally say this. We are going to interview and interrogate absolutely every single person that we think is involved with this or has information related to this. And we're going to use all of our capabilities without divulging them to advance this investigation. And that's what you saw play out here. In these last 36 hours, the FBI showed up, worked with our partners in our private sector, exploited and excavated data that people thought were missing and deleted, enhanced it, put it out to the public, got tips, led to further information exploitation, and led to further interviews. And we're not stopping. My team is on the ground. We're working through the night. And none of those guys that I've talked to when I was in Arizona or while I'm there have probably slept in a week, and they're not going to sleep because this case is of the most importance to the American public, and we are going to continue working to make sure we give the American public the answers, and most importantly, to the Guthrie family, hopefully the return of their mother and the modicum of justice that they deserve after this horrific event.
What can you tell us about the FBI agents spotted combing low-lying desert brush near Annie Guthrie's home? What can you tell us about the neighborhood around Savannah's sister, Annie Guthrie's neighborhood, as the SWAT team rolled out from the sheriff department, if anything?
Look, that's just what the FBI does. We're not taking any chances. We're going out there and combing neighborhoods and swaths of territory where we think there might be possible information, and we're going to go out and talk to anyone who has information or we believe has information in this or is involved in this tangentially or otherwise, and we're going to continue to develop those leads, continue to serve legal process, continue to work with our private sector partners, and continue to produce as much information publicly as we can, Sean, and you know this is the key, while upholding the integrity of the investigation so that we can get to a conclusion here and hopefully return Nancy Guthrie to her family and find the culprit or culprits that are involved.
Last question, if I may. Do you feel like it would be appropriate to say you feel with this progress today that the FBI is closing in?
The FBI is making advancements, and I don't want the people out there to have a false hope of what we are putting forward, but we have made significant steps in executing this investigation like we do when we deploy our tactical and expertise capabilities, our evidence response technicians, and our agents on the ground. And that's why we've made such progress, because we've committed so many resources to this investigation, and we are using headquarters components and components from around the country to make sure that every single person and expert is on the ground in Arizona for as long as it takes.
Well, 6 out of 10 on the most wanted list, top 10 most wanted list of the FBI in 1 year is pretty impressive. FBI Director Kash Patel, thank you. We really appreciate it. We wish you and your agents Godspeed in this investigation and the safe recovery of Nancy Guthrie and return to her family. All right.